Welcome back to Supermoon Station. We are talking today to Monica Taher, Technology and Business Innovation Director at Invest El Salvador. Monica, how is your day going?
It's pretty intense. That's the only word that comes to mind, but it's incredible. There's a lot of good energy, and we're excited to be here in Lisbon.
I wanted to ask you, Monica, what has changed since the moment you implemented Bitcoin as a legal tender?
Great question, because a lot of things have changed. I was talking to someone just earlier, and they were telling me that they didn't know anything about El Salvador prior to the announcement of the adoption of the Bitcoin law. And it's understandable. Nobody knew us, and who knew us only because of the gangs, the problem that we have with violence. However, now everybody sees us and know us because of the adoption of Bitcoin, and at the same time because of economic freedom, because we want to help the 70% people, 70% of our population who happen to be unbanked. So that's in regards to branding outside of El Salvador. In regards to investment, we have been hit by an avalanche of companies. A lot of companies have migrated into El Salvador.
I've heard that El Salvador is doing lots of cool educational initiatives. And I wanted to ask you in more detail, are you mostly focused on general adoption of Bitcoin, or are you also supporting businesses and teaching them how to build resilient projects in the blockchain space?
It's going to take time for our country to educate everybody. What I can tell you, and that is really satisfying in my opinion, is the fact that we are working as a united front. And by that I mean academia, the government, and the private sector. There are initiatives by the private sector and also from some non-profit organizations, such as Mi Primer Bitcoin, my first Bitcoin, that are going to remote areas, away from the capital city, educating and giving a certificate to people who graduate from a series of classes, in Bitcoin. And they're doing an incredible job. In the same way, the academia, for instance, University Monica Taher, and universities, ESEN, and many others that have a focus on finance. They are also coming out with certifications and classes on blockchain, on Bitcoin. There is even a class by University Monica Taher on the metaverse. And in regards to the government, we keep also educating and providing tools not only for the population, but also for small businesses that lack the technology right now in order to accept a payment, in Bitcoin. And those are the ones that we need to focus on, because sometimes it's not that they don't want to accept Bitcoin, it's the fact that they lack a payment method.
Did it help to attract investments in El Salvador?
Absolutely. So I work specifically in the investments area, specifically in technology, which means that, I go to conferences like NEARCON and many others where I try to literally pull companies that are not in our ecosystem yet and ask them, what are you waiting for? You need to come to El Salvador. The adoption of the Bitcoin law can actually and definitely translate into more investment for our country.
How hard it is to set up a company in El Salvador?
It's very easy. It takes from 3 to 5 days to actually incorporate a company. You can do it online as well. Right now, the site, unfortunately, it's only in Spanish. It's miempresa.gov, G-O-B as in government, in Spanish, and then .sv. And anybody can read the requirements so they can basically incorporate it as a C Corp, as an LLC, right? And also what benefits you would have if you come in with a certain amount of investment. Now, there's going to be more detail in regards to fiscal benefits and also residency status and citizenship obtained because of Bitcoin when these 52 laws come out.
Also heard that remittances is they're playing a really big role in the economy. I want to ask, what is the current portion of remittances are being done through Bitcoin?
Yeah, so according to our central bank, there has been an increase of people using Archivo wallet, which is the government's wallet, in order to send remittances, mostly coming from the US, although a lot of remittances have also been coming from Europe, from Salvadorians living in Europe, right? So we have a In my opinion, that will be a low percentage right now, but we need to remember something. A year ago, we didn't even have that percentage, and it will only keep increasing. Why? Because if you are in the States and I'm your relative living in El Salvador and you have the Chivo wallet and I have the same thing and you send me a remittance, then you don't have to pay any fees to send me that money, to send me Bitcoin. And if you compare that to what people are paying right now to send let's say $100 remittance or $500, it doesn't matter, to MoneyGram and many of the other entities right now, monetary entities, it doesn't make any sense, to pay for your own money to send it to your relatives.
What do you think are the main challenges for the increase in remittances through Bitcoin?
I think it comes down to education, which is exactly what we're trying to do, not only inside of the country, but also outside for Salvadorians living abroad. Hence why inside many of our consulates all over in the United States, we have Chivo wallet, we call them points, as well as an ATM, for people to go to the consulate and get acquainted and educated about, number one, how to download the Chivo wallet on your phone. There are people who have, who are of age and they might not be able to download apps on their phone, and it's okay. So they can go to the consulate and get help with that, as well as to understand how they can send a remittance. It comes down to education.
Oh, every single person in the crypto space got a crazy story. What is your one?
So I started in the crypto space in 2014. Back in 2014, I've been in technology for over 20 years. So I happened to read Satoshi's white paper, and I thought it was incredible, and I didn't realize how impactful it was going to be, at that time, 2014, right? And I bought Bitcoin. And I remember talking to my friends about it, my friends who were not into technology, who had no idea what the heck I was talking about, and who really thought I was crazy, right? And I kept on telling them, you have to buy Bitcoin. They thought I was crazy, and why would they invest in, on something like that? And keep in mind that these are people who invest in the stock market. So they knew about investment. They just didn't know about Bitcoin. Two of them listened to me and bought Bitcoin. The other three didn't. And until this day, they are regretting it.
And Monica, do you have any interesting ideas or some shout-outs that you want to do in front of our viewers? Maybe a project that you would like to feature?
There is a project that I actually want to highlight, and this is one of the reasons why we're here at this conference. We signed, from the government, we signed an agreement with one of our startups. This startup is offering microloans to entrepreneurs who happen to be unbanked. They don't have any way to access, money from the bank. Or loans. They have to rely on loan sharks, which is crazy because the interest rate, as you know, is super high. If you are watching this, please just check out Acumen, the Acumen DeFi protocol. We're very proud of this startup that is coming out of El Salvador and will be offering loans to entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Monica, so much.
Thank you.